The writing process, writing to learn. Writing about learning improves and retains understanding. Can writing to learn in the elementary grades be used as a tool to deepen learning? Writing should be used as a tool across content areas. This is because writing about learning can deepen understanding and retention of new information. Some may say there is too little evidence, or writing is just an add-on to learning content across the subjects. However, there are several ways to write to enhance learning. Does writing to learn help students better understand content across subject areas? Writing is a critical skill, but it can also be a potential tool for learning. Students can learn content by writing about it. Though writing to learn is not meant to negate other learning processes. Writing activities can be different in many ways. They can be high or low stakes, short or long, single-shot attempts or repeatedly revised about a single topic, or more integrative, among many other differences. In regard to free recall of information presented, remembering as much of a text as is possible differs from writing an essay about that text, and writing an essay would involve selecting the relevant facts while excluding the irrelevant and organizing the information into a narrative structure. Different processing is used for different writing tasks, which creates different learning results. One has to transform rather than simply repeat the information. To retrieve, reorganize, and elaborate on learned information uses different cognitive processes. Connections to information or opinions happen through building structure in writing. Information can be presented through text, spoken words, or pictures. Then a mental model is built and reorganized into writing while making cognitive connections in the retrieval, reorganization, and elaboration process. The benefit comes more in the form of organizing and elaborating upon information received over retrieval of information. Background knowledge, inferring, synthesizing, and summarizing all play a role in learning as students write in content areas. As students learn writing structure, for example, they will need to understand how to write a summary of the information received. Summary asks the student for a condensed essence of the text. The reader's task then is to reduce the text to essential bits and to restate them as succinctly as possible. We summarize to generate a more manageable version of the information. While we know reading is the foundation of much of student learning, how does writing to learn help students understand content across subjects? The goals of the teacher for students would dictate the choice of approach to writing to learn. Regardless, writing strategies can be taught that will enable students who write to use it as a tool for learning. Reflective writing calls upon students to reflect on their thinking in a learning log. They are brief, informal snapshots of their learning in a particular subject. These assignments might include completion of a KWL organizer, metacognitive response to a writing prompt, or audience response to their writing, and would be appropriate for most learners. Informational and argument writing can be introduced to even our youngest learners. Instruction would include how to draw and label pictures about a topic, how to write about a topic bit by bit, and how to elaborate by writing an opinion about the topic. Use of student and/or teacher checklists that evaluate student use of structure, development, and conventions can provide assessment of writing craft. Writing in the disciplines involves science, social studies, and other technical subjects, and requires research, summarizing, reorganizing of information, and elaboration on the evidence. Students with explicit modeling of gathering of resources, data collection, team research, and writing, students begin to load their toolkits with research strategies and build towards independence as researchers. The use of graphic organizers and planning sheets as tools for learning improves students' understanding of concepts read or presented orally. For elementary students, drawing provides scaffolding for writing to learn. For example, as students make scientific observations, they are replicating what they observe by drawing, labeling, and providing written explanation. Practical applications. How can you use what you've learned in your own teaching? What connections can you make to classroom texts or other resources you already use in your classroom? Based on the research, what types of activities or assignments might you adopt? What kinds of assessments? Let's take a look. Well, how to use it. Research supports using writing to take students deeper in their understanding of their own learning. So providing multiple daily opportunities for students to be immersed in metacognitive writing will create lasting skills and retention of information. Connections made to classroom texts and resources already in use. Well, science journals in which students draw, label, explain, and answer a focus question. Stop and jot note-taking and reflections on nonfiction guided reading texts and shared readings. These are things that are already happening in the classroom. Types of activities or assignments to adopt. Wonder centers, field notebooks, and learning logs. And what kind of assessments? Well, student and teacher assessment rubrics and checklists for information and opinion writing would be something to start. Interactive journals in which an audience member, like a peer, parent, or teacher, responds with a thoughtful comment or question about a student's writing will give us lots of information about how students are writing to learn. In conclusion, classrooms that use writing to learn provide a venue for thinking about and growing student learning by expecting students to engage in short, low-risk writing tasks across content areas. And what's the application? Well, KWLs, drawing, labeling, note-taking, explaining, and learning logs are just a few ways students can write to learn. And consider this: how do you learn, retain, and export new information? Most likely, it involves some type of writing.